Hey Seeker, so I was getting ready to actually start with your January tarot scopes for the zodiac signs, but then a message came through really strongly, and I was like, okay, this is not just for Taurus, which I planned on doing first, and it was inspired by the energy of Taurus. It's actually for the collective. So I'm going to start with this. I'm recording this on Christmas, so Merry Christmas to all of you, or to, happy anything that you're celebrating. Happy New Year. And okay, if you're new, my name is Morgane. Hi, this is the Existential Shift. It's not just a nice term, I mean it. It's an existential shift. So, yeah, just to be clear about that. Sorry, my plant here is like kind of like makes me want to like give it a bite, and it's annoying me. All right, it's taking my attention away from you guys. So let's fix our beautiful bamboo to turn the other way. There we go. Thank you. Pretty. All right. There. Sorry. Thank you for your patience. Anyway, so 2021. When you're watching this, it doesn't matter if you're watching this, immediately after I upload this, or sometime in 2021, or any time that this message might apply to you. If you're guided here, then there's probably something here for you. Uranus is still in Taurus. It's going to be for the next few years, and it's been doing a pretty accurate job as we anticipated on planet Earth, on Gaia, because Taurus is not just ruled by Venus, but also by planet Earth. Some will say even more so. I think both. Never mind. And Uranus, which is the very futuristic, advancement type of energy, coming from the mind, electricity. It's Aquarian, right? It's very Aquarian energy. Now has its, ruling sign. It just got Jupiter and Saturn moved into, okay? Jupiter and Saturn were just in Capricorn. It recently, on the 17th and the 19th of December 2020, moved into Aquarius. Strengthening the Uranian energy. Basically, both Jupiter and Saturn expand, but also in an accurate way. Jupiter with Saturn, I think it's an amazing duo. They don't exactly cancel each other, although you can look at it like that in a shadowy aspect. It could play out like that, but I feel like specifically in this regard, they are kind of working well as a team. I see them as like a winning team right now, going through the signs and just doing their work on us. So Saturn makes the expansion of Jupiter more accurate, more mature, placed properly. And Jupiter gives it a more fluid, expansive, positive energy to it. I think it's a real winning team in my view. And moving into Aquarius, which is the sign of humanity, of society, of future and progressiveness and science. Okay, I need to mention this, so excuse me for kind of not exactly diverging, but anyway, so Aquarius, there's a reason why it has a dual nature of both the humanitarian, emotional, I connect with everyone, but also the detached, scientific energy. It's not really dual. We interpret it as dual because we have a dual split mindset, but it's actually only connecting the dots even stronger to the fact that science and spirituality, that science and the heart and energy are the same thing. Is there actual difference between the studies of sciences and the studies of theologies, when theologies are basically the storytelling and analogies, the creative expression given to scientific phenomena. We'll not go into that because that's a whole video on its own, and you're more than welcome to watch my New Earth prophecy video about the split into New Earth and new frequencies, and watch that. It's an entire story on its own where I explain it through spirituality and science languages, and I connect the dots. But for now, let's go back to 2021 and the energies of Taurus and Aquarius. So Jupiter and Saturn are now in Aquarius, ruled by Uranus. Uranus gets a vicarious boost from that, from Jupiter and Saturn going into Aquarius. And Uranus being boosted with Jupiter and Saturn and being itself is now in Taurus. So the sign of Taurus is vicariously now also has Saturn and Jupiter entering its sign vicariously. Again, and this is my intuitive astrology, and this is how I connect the dots. Take it or leave it. Now, when I say all of these energies are in the sign of Taurus, of course it can affect Taurian people, but it's the collective energy of Taurus. Taurus, again, is not just Venus, it's Gaia, it's Mother Nature. It's the earth, it's the elements, it's the seasons. There's a reason why the other side of the spectrum of Taurus is Scorpio, right? It's life and death. Seasons are renewal and rebirth, but also ending and death. And it happens simultaneously in the transition between the seasons. So 2021 is going to be, this is just an added avenue and an added aspect and explanation to the entire New Earth split prophecy. And again, watch my New Earth prophecy video where I bring it on in a very explanatory, detailed way. Okay? Because I don't want to repeat myself, and it's a 1 hour length video, but I do recommend watching it to give you kind of an extra understanding, or even base understanding. So this is what I'm seeing. Another avenue, another perspective to this duality that we're now experiencing via this split. New world, old world, new earth, old earth, etc. Is going to play out in 2021 through the energies of Taurus and Aquarius and the combination between them, their interaction, guided by the energies of Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus. Now, because there's a duality and a split, the aspect of the light versus the shadow of each of these signs and these planets is going to really play out strongly. Because what will turn into the new Earth will be based upon the light energies of these signs and planets and their interaction, and the play out and manifestation of the old world, old Earth, is going to be based upon manifestation of the shadow aspects of Taurus Aqua, Taurus Aquarius, and these planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, based off how I explained that they're connecting them. Now, of course, there's probably other avenues to it and other ways of looking at it, but this is the message that came in really, really strongly. So, let's talk about the light side. Let's talk about the New Earth prophecy for a second in this regard. We have Taurus, which is nurturing, mothering, creative life force, abundance, wealth of spirit, wealth of finances, wealth of emotion, value, worth. adding to it the Venusian aspects of it. Beauty, creativity, earth loving the people. Sorry for the sirens. Earth loving the people, supporting the people, feeding the people. Nature being abundant and giving to the people, aka Aquarius. Because it's reciprocity, right? It's a two-way stream. Because the people, the Aquarian energy, are, in the light aspect possibility of this, nurturing to Mother Nature, healing Mother Nature, changing behavior patterns to assist Mother Nature, to assist the planet, the animal kingdom, nature, reducing gas emissions, moving into plant-based nutrition, all these things, moving into free energy type of transportation, everything you can imagine in that regard. If the people, Aquarius, use science and progression, right, Aquarius, to heal Taurus, Mother Nature, planet, Earth, life, collective life to all, Mother Nature will be beneficial to the people. It will be a great relationship of creativity, life, abundance, health, progression. The democratic aspect of Aquarius, more towards the socialism as opposed to the communism, which could be the shadow aspect of Aquarius, right? Because Aquarius can also be a dictator if you take it to the shadow aspect of it. And Taurus can also be a tyrant if you take them to the shadow aspect of it, the energy. When Taurus doesn't feel safe, it starts controlling. So does Mother Nature. When a mother doesn't feel safe, when a mother doesn't feel her children are safe, aka the animal kingdom, the plants, nature, the elementals, what will it do? It will attack. Taurus energy is very protective, very loving, very giving, very nurturing, but first and foremost, very protective. Ever tried messing with a Taurus best friend or a family member or a loved one? They're like they are the knights, right? The knights of the round table would all be a Taurus, probably archetype-wise, okay? I'm exaggerating. All other signs, chillax. I'm sure you're also a knight, okay? I'm bringing forth the most known energies of the signs that I'm talking about right now, right? The humanitarian of Aquarius, but also Taurus is very humanitarian and giving and life-loving if it's safe, if you nurture Mother Nature, if you love it, her, right? It's a feminine sign, a fixed sign. Queen of Pentacles is Taurus, not King of Pentacles. Tarot readers out there, fixed energy is feminine. The fixed signs are the queens. Sorry, never mind. Just the Tarochi in me that sometimes feels the need to. I don't care what that or that book said. There's thousands of books. You read the wrong ones, the modern ones, the manipulating ones. Go further back in the history of tarot and think of the energy of feminine versus masculine, fixed versus cardinal. Just make sense of it. And then it will make sense to you. Okay? I'm saying it with love. I'm sorry if I'm being sarcastic. I can't help it. Back to our conversation. So the new earth aspect of the energies of Aquarius and Taurus working together, humanity and earth working together, science working for nature, not against nature, for connectivity and not for divide. And you know what I'm talking about based on 2020. If science will use its advancements to allow us to reconnect and not further detach us, it will contribute to the aspect of the new earth. okay, of prosperity for humanity. But here's the shadow side, the other aspect that I do see existing. It's no longer this or that. I think it's already set that it's going to be this and that, and different people will just have very different life experiences. Okay? So the shadow aspect, or the old world aspect, and I'm sorry if I'm being repetitive because I'm saying complex things sometimes. I want to make sure that it sits right and that, you know, you don't get to a point of, wait, what is this about, or how is this connected? So I'm sorry if I'm being repetitive. I know it can be annoying for those of you who already get it and you're like, okay, move on with it. I understand. But please try to be patient because I want everyone who's listening to kind of be together in this, okay? So the shadow aspect is the communism Aquarius, right? The totalitarian. In the name of some cause, there's always a cause and there's always something in the name of something. Everyone needs to be aligned and controlled in the same way. And we're going to use advancements in science and knowledge and technology to control you versus liberate you. To control you would be locking you up so you'll be safe. To liberate you will be educating you to how to maintain your health with the energy of Taurus, right? Good nutrition, exercise, not eating GMOs, making sure the environment is not toxic, reducing gas emissions, that our system initially is not susceptible and weak to enemies like we have been and still enduring in 2020. Rather, instead of how do we block ourselves from the world, how do we strengthen ourselves to be able to deal with the world and connect with the world? Because the information, the Aquarian knowledge, is there for both options. But where do we take it to? I personally, myself, speaking for myself as Morgane, have been consistent for years in making sure that my body is healthy, strong, clean. I try to eat clean. I try to drink clean. I'm plant-based because I also don't want to vicariously hurt the animal kingdom and obviously the planet because it's also very, very destructive to the ecosystem when we are not on plant-based. Now that's a big conversation on its own, but that's an example, okay? I personally haven't had the common cold in about 6 years. And I used to have it. It's not like I was born lucky. I used to have it every, in between seasons, like most of us do. Sorry. It's not coincidental. It's definitely not luck. It's awareness, and it's consistent work. And it's not actual work. It's actually just habits that grow onto you and becomes easy. But that's the type of education and progress that I'm talking about. Information that can benefit us and allow us to maintain our strength and connect, as opposed to separate us. Instead of a band-aid, a preventative type of medicine, right? Taurus is natural healing, okay? You can say that Taurus energy would be the alternative medicine or herbal medicine or just plant-based medicine, nutrition, exercise, treating ourselves well. The Aquarian type of medicine will be the modern science, Western science. Surgeries, medical, chemicals, medical, science, which is all great. Both have wonderful room, and if they work together, that's amazing. But if they battle off one another and don't work together, if the Taurus energy closes off and being protected and you're like, you can't use my resources because you're taking advantage of me, and the Aquarians is like, oh, but I want, so I'm going to take because I'm using it to science, which is more important than you are, that's when things are going to become very tumultuous, if not already. And Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus that are connecting these signs are going to strengthen, like a either upward tornado or a downward tornado, are going to really, really strengthen and amplify each of these energies and support that type of split that we keep talking about. So one tangible, practical way to raise your frequency and to try to be on the path and guided to new earth, meaning living a sustainable, healthy, progressed. This is not one or the other. This is both working together, being two languages describing the same thing on a healthy, light-based perspective and actions. Is to take the good of each of the energies and lead by example, practice them. You believe that this is the best for you, go for it. But the second you start enforcing or patronizing or dictating it to the other, that's when you're stepping out of that energy. You're not being protective, you're being corrupt by fear. Oh, but what will happen to me if you don't do exactly like I do? Do you, boo? If everybody does what fits best for themselves, they will connect as equal. But if everybody forces on the other what they believe is best for themselves, they will separate as non-equals. That's the irony of it. Individualism will support unity, but forcing unity will cancel the individual and cancel the self. And if there is no self, there is no unity, right? If there is no individual and several individuals, there isn't a hand, there isn't a group. A group is made of the individuals, but if every single one of them is cut, having their head cut off, it's non-functioning. So I think there's going to be a lot of progression in very good aspects in 2021, but there's also going to be a lot of dissension in many aspects, and different people will experience different situations. And I want you to find yourself where you feel safe and happy. And the people who are aligned with you and connect to that will find you, and you will find them. But don't try to force anyone or push anyone or manipulate anyone to being on your agenda or mindset or belief. No matter whether you think that you are on this side or on that side, you're not saving anyone by forcing them to see what you see. You're hurting the both of you. Okay. Let's do a little bit of a tarot reading for specifically now, because this was a message for the collective for whenever you're watching this, 2021 and on, and also as preparation. But for those of you who are watching this when it's fresh, you know what, energy has its way, so whatever, for everyone. I will focus this spread, this reading, for Christmas time through New Year's. Okay, so it's about a week from Christmas to New Year's. For my seekers, my collective of seekers, show me the shadow aspect of the collective right now. When I say shadow, I don't mean evil, but the thing that is like kind of hiding and that could use a little love and attention and work and awareness, okay? Showing the shadow aspect. Both of these are Aquarius energies. Remember? Queens are fixed energy. And 5, 6, 7 of Swords are also insinuating Aquarius. So, the Aquarian day and age. Everything I just said basically is going to also play out strongly in the next week. You are going to almost like root down a mindset for you, within you, when it comes to your set of beliefs, ideologies, thoughts, intentions, medicine possibly, What is your type of medicine? How you connect the different types of medicine. It doesn't mean you have to choose. I like to use both. I have tons of respect to both in a healthy, balanced way. I never personally take pills, for example. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I never take pills, for example, but if God forbid something were to happen to me, of course I would want a doctor, if I'm in an accident or whatever, to treat me and go to the ER. And there are things that we just need. Modern medicine is crucial and wonderful for. And then there are other things that we just don't need, that we've taken too far, where we can use herbal medicine or, natural medicine. To not over manipulate our body and our system. Does that make sense? So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you that you will be guided. That the collective shadow right now is trying to find itself, its mindset. Okay, what do I believe in? What do I need to do? What is the right thing? Listen to your own guidance. Take what you know. Do extra research. Cross-reference. Do research from different sources. Connect it with what you know about yourself and about your body. And make a decision that it's okay that it would change, of course, but have a mindset for yourself. Also, there's a tendency to believe mental manipulation in the next week that is presenting itself as the high and mighty ideology, okay? Why? Because this Queen of Swords is in the upright. It's attentive. It's listening to the Seven of Swords. But this Seven of Swords, it's shady. But the Queen of Swords is truthful and wants to know the truth and is very open to them. So I'm picking up that this energy is being a little bit manipulative in the way it's presenting the information. So be super discerning in the next week. In the next week, the shadow aspect of Aquarius can a little bit, challenge us. And it's important to be on top, to ask the questions. Okay, to ask the questions. You're going to a doctor? Great. Ask all the questions. Don't be shy. This is your body. This is your life. You're not sure about something? Ask. You want to get a second opinion? Get a second opinion. No one knows more about your body than you do. Open for discussion sometimes. I understand. But you know what I mean. Anything else for this coming week? The shadow aspect of the collective that my seekers need to know about? This is controlling through the mind. But it's being stopped by this Queen of Swords, which serves like this protector, guardian. Are you true? Let me ask you the questions. If you are not certain, if something in your gut tells you that you're not sure, doesn't matter how much it sounds sensible and reasonable and how much this person seems to have the authority because of a status, because of a definition, because of whatever, simply ask the questions. This is a corrupt, controlling energy. Also, there's an aspect of demonizing earth energy. See this? Trying to I'm going to go into the shadow aspect of science. And if you're watching me for the first time, guys, I'm a science buff. I am not. But everything has shadow and light. Everything has good expression and negative expression. With power comes responsibility. With knowledge comes responsibility. When you have power and knowledge, it's very easy for you to control people or masses. So it's not about science per se. It's about the holder of it and how they use or abuse it right now, right? So this specific energy, I ask for the shadow energy, okay? Coming up really strongly, an aspect of science-based something demonizing the natural world, because the devil is not just evil, the devil is also earth, the natural instincts, the body, the connectivity. And there's also almost like this energy of all of these things are evil, right? They're viewed as the devil instead of being viewed as like the empress. There's a little bit of mental distortion of things. So the guidance is to be super discerning, not take anything automatically for granted. I always watch several news channels. For example, when I want to know about something going on, I'll watch several and cross-reference because they're all tilting towards something. It's just natural. It's just natural. It doesn't matter how much anyone wants to be objective. It's a made-up notion, okay? So if you want to have a real big, clear picture of things, cross-reference, especially this week, before you jump to assumptions and conclusions. That's a huge message right now coming up. Okay, now for those of you who are, oh look, this is beautiful, bottom of the deck, the star, which is the highest, purest aspect of the Aquarian energy, of faith and love and connection. This is, you know, aliens and humans hanging out. As opposed to humans, you know, imprisoning aliens, compensating their spaceship and doing research on them. Kind of like what we're already doing to animals, right? We're excusing the horrible pain that we inflict on animals in the name of progression. Now, bottom line, it does help us progress because we do learn a lot from some of it. Most of it is just bullshit, but a lot of it teaches us a lot. But doesn't make it okay. We will also potentially learn a lot from experimenting on humans. Dr. Mengele in the Holocaust did that to Jews. He had his scientific reasons. They learned a lot. But it was wrong on every single level. So as long as we see animals to be beneath us, we will excuse the torment that we inflict on them in names of progress. And that's the shadow aspect of science and progress. Am I being more clear now? If we can reach space, we can find a way to discover discoveries without tormenting innocent beings. And this is the aspect of technology and science that touches the soul of Anima Mundi, that works with the earth, that works with Taurian energy, with Mother Nature. And this is what could be. You know, it's the notion of utopia. Honestly, this combination scares me. It scares the shit out of me. So, this week, please, everyone, take deep breaths before you operate from fear, before you take something as a fact because you want to know, right? The unknown can be scary, so we cling to information, any information that comes because it gives us comfort. Okay, I have an answer. But is it the right answer? You can handle fear. You've been dealing with it for what, your entire life, haven't we all? You're still here to tell about it. So practice your meditation or your breathing or whatever it is, wherever you go to regain control over yourself. And say, well, hold up, that sounds very interesting. I just want to check this resources and these resources and that person and that profession, just to have a better picture. And maybe you're completely right, and in a week from now I'll come back to you and we'll go for it. Possible. I'm not saying be closed-minded or rejecting, rather open-minded and exploring. Okay, so these are 22 major arcanas from my huge deck that I use for lectures and teaching and stuff. I'm going to pull a card from the major arcanas that I pulled in advance from the full deck. I just have the major arcanas because the major arcanas are the grand advisors. Arcana is an advisor if you're not familiar. because I want to see what my seekers can do when it comes to shamanic work, because the tarot also represents, especially the major arcana, represents shamanic spiritual work. It's not just the interpretation of the card, but the deep spiritual energetic essence and lesson of it. So I'm going to pull one card for you to take as shamanic work for this coming week, or for whenever you're watching this and it feels like it rings a bell and it strikes, to help the collective with the energies that just came out. Okay, so if you want to do light and shadow work, light or shadow work, as a light worker / shadow worker, to help the collective with these energies that I've just described, yourself and the energies, this is the card I'm pulling for you to focus on its energy and on its work. Okay, what can my seekers do to help the collective from now to New Year's, or whenever they're watching this, with these energies? What kind of shamanic spiritual work? Okay. Wheel of Fortune. Ruled by Saturn, but represents the fixed signs: Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo. And universal changes that starts within and turn around the bigger cycles and bigger wheels, and create shifts in the universal spirit, and vice versa. Changes and shifts that happen in the universal spirit, how they affect ourselves. And there's alchemy here, and there's sulfur and salt and all kinds of symbols. And this is Yud Hey Vav Hey, Jehovah in Hebrew. And this is Tarot, which actually is the Rota of Tarot. Orat speaks the Torah, the laws of Ator, which was the goddess of love. Dorota of Tarot, Orat Torah of Ator. Now, a lot to know about this Wheel of Fortune, like a lot. It doesn't just represent changes in fortune in a reading, okay? To my Tarot Masterclass students, you have this class available for unlimited streaming. Watch it and take within you the shamanic work and the spiritual work of the essence of the card that I'm talking about there, as ways of helping the collective with these energies. Okay? Because that's the advice, that's the guidance, the Wheel of Fortune. If you're not one of my Tarot Masterclass students and you still want to know even more about the Wheel of Fortune and my, what I teach about it, I will link the link to the class below. You don't have to have the entire, my entire online class, my entire Tarot Masterclass Bunkai. You can rent the classes separately or purchase them separately. You can literally rent this for $2. Okay, up to you. You don't have to. And if you know about the Wheel of Fortune, feel free to take it as the way you view it. But if you want to know what I teach about it when it comes to, and I actually go into the shamanic spiritual work of it, then feel free to watch. Okay, guys? So this is for the next week, how we can help the collective. Spiritual homework. Okay, guys, I love you very, very much. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and even better 2021. Hey, you're here to tell about 2020, so proud of you for that. This is a pivotal moment in our life, and it's both exciting and a little bit scary at the same time, and that's okay. We got this. We're doing this together. Okay? All the tarot scopes for all the 13 zodiac signs will come after this, so stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram, it's The Existential Shift. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe, press the bell button to receive notification. Comment your thoughts. What do you think about everything I just said? I love reading you guys. You are now able to join as a member to The Existential Shift. It's just a way of reciprocity to support the channel and myself on a monthly basis that you can cancel anytime. Check it out if you're into that. That's it. Oh, check out Vimeo and Patreon. Whatever. But first and foremost, for now, Wheel of Fortune. Wow.